Welcome to On the Square. I'm your host, Michael Coffey. Today we have our guest in here. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. He's also another host on a couple of shows that he broadcasts. Our topic today is the state of Black America, which includes the Hartford area. So we're going to kind of touch on a lot of different topics. He did a show I think it was last week on Nike, which I missed. I'd like to hear a little bit, about a couple of minutes on what his perspective on that situation with the Nike advertisement. But I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Okay. Once again, I know I'm not new as of a guest perspective on here. I hope I'm not new to a lot of you. We do collabos a lot all the time, crossovers, whatever you want to call it. But in short, my name is Deli. Like he said, I run Talk of Hartford TV, which is taped at 7 p.m. on Thursdays today, and Hope Line TV, which is live at 6 p.m. And that's just me, a little bit about me.
Thank you, sir. I want to just give some shout outs. The typical shout out is to the Nation of Islam, the Moore Science Temple, the Prince Hall Masons, the Nuwabians, and any other group that I may left out. Also, I want to give a shout out to other Black organizations that might be handling the situation a little bit different. One is called the Free Alabama Movement. One is the Justice League out of New York City. One is the New Era Nation out of Detroit, Michigan. I think they had 7 chapters. Black Land Initiative out of Oakland, California. And did I leave out any? The Free Alabama Movement is dealing with injustice in the prison industry using free labor. And when I say free labor, they get 25 cents, 50 cents, those kind of price rates, an hour, in some cases a day. Some of those wildfires in California, they're using prison labor to fight those fires out there. Just in case you didn't know.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
The New Era Nation, they're in Chicago, they're in Detroit, they're in Atlanta, they're down south somewhere. I think maybe Tennessee, somewhere around there. I think they just opened a chapter in DC. They've been fighting, because when you have I think the organization is only 4 years old. When you have new organization, there's always somebody want to join and take over everything. So they've been weeding out people, and I don't mean physically, because once somebody get the information that they're not wanted, they usually leave. So you don't really have to enforce the pushing somebody out. You just let them know that they know what you're up to, and they walk away. So a lot of people forgot about the New Era Nation. They have some good programs, but a lot of infighting because it's a fairly new organization. Oh, I know what the other group that I left out, the poorpeoplecampaign.org. And they're trying to reboot or follow up what Martin Luther King in the, was it 68 or 69 was, I think it was 68 that he was trying to bring that to the nation's attention, and then he got assassinated. So he never got to complete that, which is trying to have a coalition of all kind of poor people together to fight the powers, as Public Enemy would say. So again, Free Alabama Movement, the Justice League out of New York, the New Era Nation out of Detroit, the Black Land Initiative out of Oakland, California. The Black Land Initiative is trying to get land back from Black people that was taken from them. And during Roosevelt, he provided some land for black people in the past. And what happened when a lot of these civil rights workers got arrested in the 60s, they didn't have any money to bail themselves out of jail. So black people put up their land and their houses for collateral to get them out of prison. And once the establishment found out that because this was land that was given to blacks for their, the past injustice, they decided to get rid of that program. So, because black people were actually using that land to help other blacks in this struggle against injustice. But that program no longer exists in terms of trying to correct wrongdoing in the past. I think I covered all the groups. There's some names that I'm gonna try to cover real quick, and I hope Deli don't forget the question I asked him, because it's been a minute. He's been waiting. I want to give a shout out to Dan Bryan. Dan Bryan is also like Brother Deli. When you ask him to come, he comes. He's not a scared person that looks black. Eric Carver, Kevin Booker Jr., Doug McCory, Joshua Hall, Cynthia Jennings, Andrew Keenan. He's out of Springfield. He come all the way down from Springfield to do my show. Kenny Green, Cheryl Smith, Martha Klein, Brother John that runs the All Eyes on Egypt bookstore, Calvin X from the national, well, it's not national, but it's a national organization, the Nation of Islam, the mosque in this city. I think it's 14th, but somebody can correct me. Carl Hardwick, which is supposed to be here today. Stan McCauley, Pastor AJ Johnson, Councilperson Winch, Mark Powell, which have a TV show in another area, Warren Harding, Abdul Muhammad Jr., Donna Campbell, Trev Foster, have a bookstore on Main Street, Brandon Frame, Reverend Henry Brown, Reverend Sam Saylor, Joe Young, Virginia Adams, Cleo Wright, which have a bookstore on Blue Hills, Brother Jihad, he teaches high school. I think he's at Weaver. Lauren Hardy, Leonard Epps, which also teaches teenagers. We have Trevor Johnson, which have he's an attorney and a professor. Woody Doan, professor at University of Harvard. Dr. Bridget Cooper, Dr. Malin Chandrick, Mark Wilson, professor, Professor Charles Button, Professor Curtis Love, Professor Walton Foster, Professor Matthew Hughes, Professor Seco out of University of Harvard, Professor Fenny Assegai, and also Brother David McGee that he's a financial coach, teach you about improving your credit score, investing, money management, that kind of stuff. And these are some of the people, and of course, Brother Deli right here, if I didn't say his name, that has been on the show on the past. So I want to give them credit for having the courage to come on the show and not being scared. And as you can see, more and more talk shows, black-oriented focus shows are being eliminated all across the country, and we need to support these types of programs and not get caught up in all the other glitz and glatter and the reality shows, Empire and Power and all that stuff. It's good to watch once in a while, but you need a steady diet of reality and truth. So again, let's get back to my brother over here that took time on his busy schedule I want to recap. He did a little segment on his show about the situation with the Nike and the NFL and colon situation, and he can talk a little bit about it.
Okay, thank you for that shout out, and obviously thank you again for having me back here on the square. You know, I always love the opportunity to be able to, you know, bless the show with my presence or whatnot. And it's not even me blessing the show with my presence, just you being able to extend that olive branch to me, because you don't have to do it, but you do it. So, and shout out to you, obviously, for being able to put out that knowledge to the people who really need it. So you mentioned my previous show that we did last week on Nike. So a good segment of the show was covered by Colin Kaepernick's movement and being picked up for the face of Nike's new campaign. Not new to him, but new to them, with his movement, United We Stand.
It's their anniversary, right? The 30-year anniversary?
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe so.
Yeah.
That, it was, even if you aren't the type to watch TV, there was no way you could get around that, just because of simple facts, the reactions, and we spoke about that as well. And not to eat too much of your time, what we discussed was Nike actually putting him as the face with all the controversy Colin has faced and is still facing, as, you know, the voice and the face of that movement, which is basically, if you don't understand the movement, he has spoken and said he kneels to bring light to not only the oppressed, but to police brutality, the way they conduct themselves when they handle African Americans, people of brown, black, of color, period, and how we basically have been disrespected, violated, had our rights violated, breached, whatever you want to call it. How it's just not, there is no equality when it comes to us, people of color, dealing with authorities or the law, as in police especially. This is why he kneels. He does not, he repeats, does not do it to disrespect veterans or people in the Army or, you know, the Navy, whatever form of soldiers that are out there. He does not do that. He actually has respect, the utmost respect, for people who serve the country. What he does is he uses his platform. He used to be a football player for the, I believe,
49ers.
49ers.
Yeah.
And he uses his platform to shine light. A lot of people feel like, you know, that's not the place to do it. He was ridiculed by the own league that he's worked for, the president of the United States of America currently, and everyone else that looks like a Billy, Timmy, or Robin. What we talked about was how we felt like that was a big thing to actually be able to link up and join and obviously get paid to put his movement, spread it out there alongside Nike, you know, and have people reach people on a greater level for awareness. What we also spoke on was the reactions. If you feel this was the right move for Nike, if you feel like Nike had
A hidden
agenda, if you felt like Colin really made the best move with partnering up and signing with them. So,
or you should say re-side.
Yeah.
Re-side with him.
Re-side with him.
Because he was there, and his
definitely.
contract was running out.
Right. You know, and I'm going to, because we are short on time, I'm going to just give you mine.
Okay.
Reaction, because my beautiful co-host Polka the Rebel was the one who was alongside me to give her side of the story, but I will give mine, which kind of goes into what she feels as well. Shout out to Polka. What I said was, I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like this is definitely a great move as far as bringing awareness. I'm glad to see that if he can't do what he loves to do, which is play football on a general level and be respected for his views and what he stands for, at least be able to generate, some income, because he deserves this. He deserves at least the respect and the money aspect of things. You get what I mean? Because there are plenty of people making way more that care way less. They've been vocal about it. So I'm glad to see that, because let's be real, to fight oppression, to fight for equality, a lot of people feel like you can do all of this on a free dime. To be honest with you, you're not going to go very far unless you have money. We can agree on that.
Right.
That was one of my views on that. The other one was, I definitely feel like Nike is definitely not pure-hearted in this. I have no problems with Nike as in the wear. I've been wearing Nike since I could spell it, even before then.
Yeah.
I'm not a Jordans type of person, and I don't really support him because his views have been public as
well.
Yeah, definitely. And yet, people of color definitely still will go out on a limb to do what they got to do. But that's for another time. Yeah. The bottom line is this. Like most corporations, Nike didn't just do this because it was the right thing.
To do.
Like their slogan says, just do it. They did it all right. But what I'm saying is, let's not forget, they aim to benefit from this, definitely financially. They know that even if they lose that white, how do I put it?
The profit?
That white profit. That nice white profit that they've been receiving, they know they can still make it up, because in reality, when you think of Nike, who do you really think buys and really take profit from them? It's us.
Yeah.
It's technically an upgraded FUBU, if you want to be technical. That's how. I'm not saying they are FUBU, because FUBU really stood for us, by us. That was the slogan. But black people have been buying Nike and continue to buy Nike like that. And their sales, have you seen the reports? Their sales have increased exponentially. I don't know the percentage, but it's a high one. I believe they said ever since the announcement, their sales have tripled. They're obviously, with so many people, especially Caucasians, burning their apparel, their shoes, and everything Nike, and cutting out Nike's check socks, like that's gonna do something. They're not worried about it, because
they're gonna make their money.
They're not just gonna make it; they're making it, and they're making it faster than nothing before. So they're okay with, number one, the loss of that side of business, but they're also okay with Colin being able to get the deal that he got. It's a multi-million deal, multi-million-dollar deal, and at the end of that, they don't care about the backlash, because, like I said, their main objective is to make money. I haven't really seen anything released from the company, a spokesperson saying, "Hey, we fight for equality. We fight to stick it to the man, or to bring awareness to this." They really haven't put it out there. They made a definitely tricky move with putting Colin as the face of that campaign and, linking up with them. But let's be real. They know how to tiptoe around the situation. So many people are focused on, hey, Colin, they got Colin up in there. Yo, you know how we are. We hear any little bit of good news, and a lot of us aren't going to really dig in and do the research or the background homework to see exactly what it really is on the surface. So they're taking advantage of the euphoria that people are feeling, how they feel about this, and in reality, their agenda still remains,
Making money.
money, and whatever other agenda, part of the other agenda is unknown. So to me,
That's correct.
that concerned me, and that's what I put out there on the show. I said, I already gave you all the positives of what it is, but I'm still concerned as the simple fact of what they really are after. Because in these days, you can't trust big corporations point blank. You can't trust anybody within the 1 percentile
Right.
of income making, So that's what we touched on, and my ending result was, if Colin knows this, which he's a smart guy, I'm pretty sure he's very well aware of this, but it's not a bad thing if he can take it and utilize it for what he needs to, use this term, I don't know how long the deal is for, but if he could use this platform to definitely work it into his advantage, I don't see an issue with it. He probably knows better than anybody what they're after and what they're capable of, but he keeps them probably at bay. Meanwhile, he does his part. Everybody's, happy on their end of the bargain, but yet he still knows at the end of the day, no, I can't fully put my trust in them, because in reality, they're out for self. And I have my own agenda, but my agenda benefits our people. You get what I'm saying? So that's pretty much, in layman's terms, what we discussed and how we felt on the situation as far as Nike and Colin Kaepernick goes. And salute to Colin, because you never wavered. No matter, you face death threats. It's almost like Obama when he was elected. He's faced death threats. He's faced, being snubbed and dubbed, not only from people he's considered teammates and friends, family as well. His birth mother came out, and they used her just to try to attack him. And she went on to say, even though she gave him up, I'm disappointed in my baby boy, my only son, hold on, let me hold it, because I don't know if she has other kids, but my precious son, because he's a moneymaker. And I don't know what he does for her off cam, but they use her definitely because they knew his views and her views contrast.
Right.
And it was definitely a low-handed tactic, but in reality, he grew up with most of his life without her. So I don't know what they thought was going to come out of that, but they didn't succeed, because as you can see,
and that's a lot of times why people have concern about interracial unions. And I'm not going to go on the biblical part, because religious people, they want to talk about the mixing of seeds of
to say that.
But this is a classic textbook case study of when you have two opposing viewpoint based on the system, the culture of somebody that believe in the system and somebody that's been oppressed by the system, and they get together. They're going to have opposing viewpoints. So it's hard to have a family when they clash, when the system oppress one of the individuals.
Correct.
So I also want to say that I have a boycott against Nike, but this has been going on for years. It's been going on since the red, black, and white Jordans. So it has nothing to do with this young man right now that was is being whitelisted off the NFL because there's no reason that he can't make the team. I don't know if there's a reason that he can't start. But you can't tell me all these bench warmer quarterbacks, he's not better than some of them.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah, out of 32 teams, he's not better than any of them. So that's my issue with how they're treating this dude. With Nike, I have a problem. Nike, like Walmart, goes to these countries and they exploit their workers for low wages. Like one of these countries, I want to say Indonesia, but I'm trying to recall it in my memory, that at the time their minimum wage was $2 an hour, and Nike refused to pay $2 an hour to the worker, and they left the country. So Nike been doing stuff like this. Nike has been doing stuff like, or allowing stuff to happen, like locking the doors in factories. So you're up in this in these factories where they have the chemicals, like the adhesiveness to put on the sneakers to hold it together. It's exposing them to those environmental toxics. Yeah, and they can't leave that environment. So they're exploiting. When they asked Michael Jordan about that, he said he don't know nothing about that. Of course you don't, because you just collecting a check. You don't care how the merchandise is being produced. I respect Michael Jordan in terms of he know how to dribble basketball. As a human being, I have no respect for him. When they ask him to vote for a particular campaign politician, and I don't know if the politician was a good candidate, but he was black, and his opponent was a known racist, and Michael Jordan said Republicans buy Nikes too.
Yeah, phrase that I wish I could literally just smack him.
Yeah, then the Black Student Union asked him for a donation to help them build a new complex. He said, nah. Not
to cut you off, but he also, a shop in Chicago, paid tribute to him by plastering him on the wall of the bodega, and he sued them and won, putting them out of business.
Well, that's insane.
Yeah. And it's facts. You guys can look it up, people.
So so Phil Knight, I'm assuming the CEO or the founder of Nike, he want to play ignorant about the sweatshops that he produced these sneakers, and then the fact that they was jacking up the price until people had to say, wait, pump the brakes. There's no way a sneakers that can't make it through the year, or wearing in a year and hold up, this should be costing that kind of money, and stuff, and people being killed. And I have no idea what he has done for the people in Chicago that was killing people for those Jordans.
Nothing.
Did he contribute some funding to some people that's fighting that situation? Or there's another athlete or somebody gave a bunch of sneakers to people that were struggling. Those are the kind of things that Nike could have done. Instead of having people get killed for these sneakers, you give out a supply of them, and maybe you could have them earn it. Say, okay, if you do this voluntary work, like you clean up this park, you pick up the trash, at the end of that shift, you get new Nikes. Make them work for it.
Dope.
But at least you get the Nikes. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's ways of civic duty that you can do instead of just making profits and have people exploit it. Now, I'm not a big fan of boycott. I use it. I boycott a lot of places. But what I realized a long time ago, these corporations are merging. And so even though they have all these different names, they all are together. And I'm going to give you an example. They're all together. So I'm losing. If we boycott a lot of these companies, it's going to be useless in a little while. If we don't build our own company, what happened is we're allowing people to oppress us because we're giving them the money to oppress us because we're not paying attention to what they're doing to us.
Correct.
Like I'm saying, if I use, for example, healthcare, there's 4 companies that control the healthcare industry. They control 3/4 of the healthcare industry. That's WellPoint, Aetna, United Health Group, and the other ones I think is like Humanica.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. The same thing with cell phones. You have AT&T. There's 4 companies that control 89% of the market in the cell phones. AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, Verizon. There's 6 big banks that control the majority of the deposits and the money in the whole United States. Citigroup, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, and State Street Bank. And they're 35%. These banks got money, bailout money, and they're 35% bigger than when they didn't get the bailout money. So that means they're richer and bigger, and they got taxpayers' bailout money. You know, there's only 4 big airlines: American, United, Southwest, and Delta. But you have different brands, but these 4 own those brands. So you think, well, I'm not going to go on Delta, I'm not going to go on American Airlines, but American and Delta and the other ones own other airlines, and so you go on. Right, so you're still giving it, you're still giving the money to them. It's just a different name. Same with the oil company. There's 6 big oil companies. You got like Exxon Mobil, Chevron. You got Dutch Shell. Yep. You have Phillips. So you get the idea. Same thing in the media. You got NBC, Universal, Apple, Disney, Comcast, Amazon, Nucor, and GE. So you're really not having these choices that you think you haven't. And every time you go up to every category, whatever category you go, car companies, any category you go, there's only a handful of companies controlling the whole market. So me boycotting or getting a whole bunch of, if I was able to bring together the 40 million blacks in this country and boycott all these companies, we wouldn't have nothing at the house.
Right.
You know who said that? Procter Gamble, they produce a whole bunch of stuff, and they said that on a talk show. If anybody boycott us, that you would not have any household products in the house. We make so many of the products that if you boycott us, you can't put anything in your house. Mm-hmm. This is true across the board with all these companies. They dominate the market. And you say, I don't want to deal with Comcast. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with Sprint and all that stuff. I got all these choices. No, you don't. No, you don't.
I also wanted to say, going back just a little bit, speaking of big time companies and leagues or whatnot, Colin also is in the middle of a lawsuit.
Yeah.
And they're saying it wouldn't go as far as it is if he didn't have the proof that he has. He has proof that they've conspired against him, canoodled to literally plot to get him out of the league, to blacklist him. You know what I mean?
Whitelist him.
Whitelist him. I noticed you put that. Whitelist him. And listen, I already see it going towards settling. Whether he's going to settle with them or not, I don't know. But
because it raised this same question that you realized when I said it. How can you have 32 NFL teams and you got the bench warmers? Mm-hmm. You're trying to say out of the 32 teams, he's not better than what percentage of those bench warmers when he used to be a starter?
Yeah.
Come on, man. So that don't take any research.
Yep.
You know that he was one of the top quarterbacks. Yes, he did get hurt, and he did lose a step. And it's going to be harder for him to come back because he's been gone for a minute.
Yeah.
But we're talking about second-string quarterbacks that's sitting on the bench. They're waiting for that quarterback to get hurt to get into the game. You trying to say he's not better than any of those 32 other bench warmers? I can hear your argument for the the starters, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and those people, Big Ben and all that stuff. Okay, he can't beat them. Let's say that's true. But you can't tell me these bench warmers, all of them, he can't knock some of them out? Come on, man.
Not only that, like let's look at a lot of the controversies involving and surrounding a lot of NFL players throughout the last couple of years. Michael Vick, he actually had to do time.
Yeah.
Came out, got $1 million deal, and he ended up turning things around to the point where he back making the money that he was seeing when he was out there. All right. But we all know he got locked up for dog fights. All right. You've also had Marshawn Lynch. You know, he's famous for being fined for not speaking to certain reporters or going with the script. You know, because he's tired of being told what he's supposed to do. He has his own mind, his own freedom of speech, and people love him for it. Even Ray Lewis has his little controversy. Ezekiel, people done Ray Lewis, people literally done beat their wives within an inch of their lives, whether either served time or had to be benched, suspended, whatever. Still back doing their thing. These are crimes or situations where they've hurt and almost killed other people.
Yeah,
and
this is what you're doing to somebody.
Exactly.
And they on our protest.
America welcomed all of them back with open arms because everybody wants to just see a good game with the top players back in the action, no matter what they do.
But this is what makes this show powerful. If going back, I think I'm gonna have to go back because I don't want to give you the wrong date because I'm going off of memory. But I think it was 89, but don't quote me on that. I think 1989. Somewhere between 1989 and I think 1993, somewhere between there. But I have to go look it up again. Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, he was up in the luxury Skybox. Thank you. And he had Elizabeth Taylor as a guest, and they played the national anthem. He did not rise from the national anthems. So come on, as a double standard. You know you want the players to do it, but you're not going to rise for it.
Even not to cut you off, I'm sorry.
And also the NFL, hold your thought. The NFL have a contract with the military. That's why you.
That's what I was going to touch on.
That's why you see the planes flying by and all these enlisted people, you know, in the crowd and all that stuff. That's not being patriotic. That's them paying them to promote military occupation while America is watching this pastime, one of the biggest pastime of entertainment outside of baseball. But
to even add on to that, there's for those of you who don't know, the military has a football team. They even kneeled in their games to support Colin Kaepernick. Veterans, military personnel all over the world have been interviewed, have voiced their support for this man. And when they've been asked, what do you feel about what Colin Kaepernick's about, what he's doing right now and the impact he's having, they said one of the reasons why I fought for this country was so that he can have the right to protest and to be able to make us aware and start his movement. And I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that because that's what we fought for. America's supposed to be the land of the free, where you can have freedom of speech, your right to protest, all of that. Know your laws and rules, people. So it's literally unpatriotic what they're doing to this man, and it's literally not American. Your boy 45 loves to talk about what a real American is, even though he's not married to one. But what he's doing and what everybody else who's on his side is doing is literally.
Well, I'm looking into his grandfather. I think his grandfather came into this country illegally. Now, I'm still looking into his background. But he did. His grandfather definitely did some illegal activity outside of coming to this country, even if he came legally. You know, there's other things that he did to make this money to have this guy being born with money, and then he want to keep saying that he's a self-made guy.
Nah,
You're not. When he got out of school, his father gave him $1 million.
$1 million, and he talked about it like it was a $20 allowance.
Yeah. So imagine, Deli turning 22 and somebody give him $1 million. Go ahead, see what you can do. I know he ain't gonna buy a Lamborghini. I know that he's gonna invest some of that money.
Wipe my debt.
Clearing. Yep. So he's gonna do stuff to get himself situated, lay a foundation to get situated. I also want people to don't forget Curtis Flood, his family. Curtis Flood is dead, but Curtis Flood fought against the reserve clause, and a lot of people don't know that before free agency you had a reserve clause, which means the owner tells you what you're going to make. So Deli come out of the college playing football, and he's in a top 10 player in the draft. I'm the owner. Well, that's unrealistic. It got to be a white person. But the owner is going to say, Deli, I think you're worth this. That's it. Deli can't say, can we negotiate? Nope, it's nothing. You take this or get out.
This ain't a union.
Yeah, you take it or get out. So Curtis Flood fought against it. Some bad luck. Somehow he got out of the baseball league, even though he's putting up numbers. So that means usually when you get out of the league because you're not performing anymore, but he was still performing. He got out of the league. He did some bad, made some bad choices. But it's easy to make bad choices when after you get out of the league. You're used to having this money, and you didn't expect to leave at this particular time. Made some bad choice. Next thing you know, he died. And so his work was followed up by a lawyer for the players. So I think it was either it was 76 or 85. I think it was 76. 76. This lawyer was able to get free agency, but it didn't get started until Curtis Flood got it started. He fought against that reserve clause, So my solution to all this stuff, that all these big players making all this money, is to send Curtis Flood's family a small percentage of your paycheck, send to his family to take care of his family for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, that's the least you can do.
The least you can do, because what he did, when he fought for that, a whole bunch of players was on the bench chilling because they didn't think he was going to be able to pull it off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what happened to people that fight for us. We don't support them until they're dead. Yeah. So we need more freedom fighters with backbones, and we can get that when they know that if they die, their family is going to be because that's the excuse that nobody want to go out there and do the right thing. What's about my wife and my kids? Who's going to take care of them? No. The community should take care of your wife and kids. If you put your life on the line, even Collins said sacrifice. He said that in the ad. Believe in something and sacrifice. That's what it means to sacrifice. If you're going to sacrifice something, then we should back you. We should back you. Curtis Flood, his family right now. Do a Google search and find out where his family is. And I'm talking to the athletes and even the entertainers. Send 10 G's. Every athlete and entertainer should send 10 G's to his family.
Right.
Because he had the guts to go out there and fight for so you can get what you're worth.
Pave the way for you.
Pave the way. Yeah, there you go. Every time I get sick and tired of a person go out there and put their life on the line, and then we just sit there. Oh well, we deserve this. Nah. Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King. Come on. Harriet Tubman, when she was doing the Underground Railroad, They had a bounty on her, $10,000, dead or alive.
And back then, that was like a mill.
Yeah.
You know, so you already know that's serious. They
Come
wanted
on, man.
her.
Yeah.
They wanted her.
Come on, man. You know. So and even Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King got stabbed in a restaurant. He in the restaurant got rushed, got stabbed. He go to Chicago, get hit in the head with a brick. Had to go to the hospital. It's not like he had a dream and he wasn't getting attacked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he was dreaming and he was getting attacked. And
Yeah.
while he's awake, he was getting attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to sit there and have his picture, on the wall, or we want to name all these streets. Martin Luther King Drive and Boulevard and all that.
Like a million Martin Luther,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. What you did for the family, Psh, come on, man. We got to take this thing seriously. I also want to give a shout out to these two brothers. They're in the Houston area, Texas. One is Carson Huey Yu. He got a funny name. Huey Yu.
Is he Asian?
No, he's a brother,
Okay.
full 100% brother, but he got a funny name. He's 15 years old. He graduated at 15 with a degree in physics, with a minor in Chinese. His little brother, Kanan Huey Yu, is 11 years old. He got accepted to TCU, where he's going to study engineering. He got accepted in college and he's studying engineering at 11. These are two black brothers that is kicking butt. So don't sit there and accept your children and your cousin and your nephews and nieces that they're just doing minimum works, academics. We can do it. They just got us believing that we're athletes and entertainers and comedians, and we can't do the academic work. We can do it. Also, I'm gonna give you the Capitol switchboard number, which is 202. That's Washington D.C. 202-224-3121. I need you to call your congressperson or your senator and tell them that elections are coming up, and you want to have them do something about this Supreme Court judge that Emperor 45 is trying to get into the Supreme Court. I guess it would be 5 or 6 Republicans in the Supreme Court. If he win this, they're going to have another Republican in it, no matter what the liberals do. But this guy is terrible.
Definitely.
This guy is not a friend of poor people, and poor people is a code word for black people. Yes, there is white poor people and Hispanic poor people, but you know what they mean when they say poor people.
Definitely.
They just don't want to say the N word. They just say poor people or urban, residents. That they mean us, So that's one way that you could sit on your couch, and watch Power and drinking a beer. You can participate. Call your legislator and say, hey, do something if you want me to vote for you. Get this, make it extremely hard for this Republican judge to get into the Supreme Court. Deli, you want to say?
Yeah, we just to let you know, we got 7 minutes, so I'm gonna say this. Once again, thank you for the opportunity of being here. But I wanted to end off on what we were talking about as far as college. It was a lot of information out there. Some you put out there that I definitely didn't know. So thank you for that. We as a people, one thing you said that struck with me, and I hope struck with a lot of others that are watching. We definitely do got to build more. We got to create our own. We got to start with a foundation, because if, for example, I'm a part of the group, if you grew up in Hartford, that's the name of the group, and one person put a post on there saying, we need to boycott these Chinese restaurants and hair salon and this and this and that. Without getting too deep, that post is still getting reactions and comments. You know, probably got like 700 comments by now. You know, a lot of people liked it. You know, basically the majority of the consensus on that post is saying, you know, yeah, you know, some of them saying they already been doing it. Me personally, I don't eat from there. Obviously, I don't need anything out of their shops or whatnot. And I obviously choose a black establishment first before I would ever go there. I don't deal with Chinese food. If y'all really knew what goes on over there, you wouldn't deal with it either. But the simple fact of the matter is, yeah, in order for this, and people feel like this can't work, it can work. In order for us to be successful in what we're boycotting, what we're trying to stand against, so that we can give our people the same opportunities that Mr. Ching and Mr. Chan got, number one, stick together.
Oh, but let me interject for a second. That was a good point. It slipped my mind. I shouldn't let it slip my mind.
Go ahead.
When I was saying that boycott is useless, I'm talking about multinational corporations around the world.
Oh yeah.
This Chinese takeout around the corner is a different story. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying they're not connected, but they're not. You know, that's is not necessary. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you want a car, you know, the boycotting a car is going to be much tougher. You don't have to eat a Chinese food. So boycott from that may work.
But you know, let's not. I don't want you guys to focus too much on the food itself. Let's focus on something way more bigger where they affect us as a people. The hair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the hair, and I'm not just talking women, because a lot of women feel attacked when this issue is brought up. They sell do-rags, they sell things appealing to men too. Mm-hmm. They all rush up in there and grab whatever they want because the price is right, and they always got what they need on the men. Mm-hmm. Bottom line is, it translates to kind of the main message of what we speaking on now. We need something for ourselves.
Right.
We need to be able to stand and be proud to stand together for our people, for us. Nobody else is going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm glad for Colin to do it. And if you notice, no shot to mixed people, interracial or biracial individuals out there, but a lot of biracial individuals in the industry, whether it be sports entertainment or movies or whatnot, they have been the ones to spark a revolution, sound off the horn, that's shocking to me, mm-hmm. you know, because they come from, a lot of them been raised, which parent in general you've been really raised with? A mother, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them have that white mother, and yet they still, being on that side of the family, they still know this is wrong. They probably been around family members that still feel that same way, mm-hmm. and yet they feel that way. So for them, the biggest battle probably was within their family before they announced what they want to do and what they want us to do. But if they can do that, we just need to be on the same page when we need it.
All right.
That's all I was going to say.
Okay, well, thank you for viewing Hotep. And, you know, catch us. Our show is bi-weekly, so catch us on the next Thursday. And then we also have, an encore show that comes on Saturday early in the morning. I know most people ain't getting up at 7 o'clock. Yeah. But, in AM, the show runs again. But you can also, like Deli said, you can also go on the internet, the website, and, go on the square, go down, and click on that.
Love y'all, man. Thank you for the opportunity. You already know you my brother, man. And I can't wait for the next the topic and agenda, because listen, even on that one, there's so much more we could have covered on. But we're gonna be back with some hot topics. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is Deli, man. Y'all be easy. You got it, Lindsay.
Lindsay's screaming. But you know what they just end that hunger strike in the prison, not in Connecticut, but around the country. A lot of states that had it, you know, because